Good morning and welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. My name is Sarah Whitty. I'm on the board, and I'm also involved in our Congregation Connections Committee, which is all about welcoming new friends and keeping in touch with longtime congregants. It's a little more challenging for our new friends to come check out First Universalist these days, but you are doing it, and we welcome you warmly. I'm so happy to be greeting you this morning, live from our sanctuary. I can feel you with me, and it's good. Thank you. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take those words to heart. Before our service begins this morning, I have two announcements. This Wednesday, we will have a candlelight vigil for peace on our front lawn from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And our Vespers service will be at 7 p.m. on Zoom as usual. So candlelight 5:30 to 6, Zoom 7 p.m. That's Wednesday. And then, as evidence of the strength of our hope and our vision and our commitment, I'm happy to say that the Rise Up campaign, which replaces all our other fundraisers this year, is doing really well. We have just a few shares left and available. Would you like to be the one who gets us to our goal? See the website. Now, let's take a deep breath. And settle into this different but still sacred time and space we create together each week. And Reverend Hillary will lead us into our worship.
Thanks, Sarah. It's good to be with you in the sanctuary today. And thank you, Sam. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Pete. Good morning. How are you? Happy All Hallows, happy Samhain, happy Daylight Savings, happy November, happy fun-size candy bar hangover day, happy start to what's sure to be quite a week. First Universalist members, friends, folks who just clicked the link to check us out, welcome. We are so glad you're here. And my friends, I have to say, despite my gleeful greetings to kick us off this morning, my heart aches that we are physically apart today. This day that we celebrate the powerful, mysterious, miraculous cycle of life and death, this day that we stand on the cusp of a momentous, exciting, anxiety-provoking election, this is a day we should be together. Together to sing, to shout, to pray, to make a joyful, grateful, blessed noise that will permeate the earthly realm and break on through to the spirit realm, where our ancestors will hear us and bless us in return with their joyful noise. This is a service that should be followed by a time for fellowship, a time for sharing, for laughing, for comforting, for organizing, a time to drink warm drinks and share sweet foods, a time to play music, sing, and dance. This is a day where we need to know we are not alone. We are together. We are not helpless. We are strong. And we are one of many powerful collectives in this nation of justice seekers who won't let our joyful prayers and actions be kept down. This is a day to be surprised by how much love, joy, and power is within us, and to share that powerful, joyful love with each other. We can still do this, even if we aren't together today. And my friends, though our service will be more reflective than rambunctious, it's my hope that through a small No, not through a small, through a big ritual of remembering of our ancestors. Through the beautiful melodies Sam plays and through the readings and words I share, you will feel this love, joy, and power within you. You will find a way to share this powerful, joyful love with those around you, and you will feel a part of something very, very big that breaks on through any walls that stifle your goodness and the goodness of others. This is my prayer today. Our chalice lighting words come from Representative John Roberts Lewis, whose life we lost this year, but whose spirit remains steadfast with us on earth. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Never be afraid to make some noise. Stay hopeful till your dying day. We can find a way out of no way. We will find a way out of no way. I will now light our chalice in peace and friendship, and Sam will follow this ritual by playing number 292, If I Can Stop One Heart from Beating. Good morning.
If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain.
Thanks, Sam. Our reading this week is excerpted from a poem by Joy Harjo, a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation and the current United States Poet Laureate. Her last name, Harjo, is derived from the Muskogee Creek word hadko, which means so brave it seems crazy. I love to think of her name as Joy So Brave, It Seems Crazy. What an affirmation, right? What a prayer. The poem I read today, I don't think was necessarily written for people who look like me and with ancestors like the ones I have. But I think there is much that someone like I can learn from it. It's entitled, For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet. Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop, Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by friendly winds, give it back with gratitude. Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way, though there may be high rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart. Don't hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you'll be welcomed. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go of the pain you're holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. Call your spirit back. You must call it in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces. Gather them together. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it's bathed and given clean clothes, and then you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves you and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go, and then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. I invite you all now to pause. I know many are tuning in from home, as you might be eating breakfast or drinking coffee or maybe working on a crossword puzzle. Just pause. Put down what you're doing. Take a breath. And if you're able, bring near a candle you can light or an object that makes you feel good and steady. Today, in honor of All Souls, of Samhain, the festival of life and death, we lift up the lives we've lost of those we've loved, those who love us, and those who have taught us how to live and taught us how to be most truly ourselves. These beings no longer walk the earth, but their spirits remain with us. With words inspired by Reverend Erica Hewitt and Reverend Florence Kaplow, today we offer a ritual of remembrance for these lives. In a moment, I will read the many names I received from you these past few days. Names of loved ones, of ancestors, of leaders and artists who inspired and strengthened us as individuals and as a collective. I'll also read the names of those who died unjustly this year. Names of those who call us out and call out to us to repair this broken world. I am well aware that there are many, many more names that could be added to these lists, and throughout the reading of these names, I will offer moments of silence. These are times to center yourself in prayer and reflection, or to speak aloud the names you wish to honor. When we remember a person who touched our lives, when we speak their names and tell their stories, we bring them into our circle. We carry their spirit along with our lives. As I read these names, I invite you to light a candle or meditate on that object that makes you feel good and honor the loved ones you have lost, the loved ones we all have lost. So now, won't you take a deep, refreshing breath with me, clearing away anything that does not serve you at this time, and center yourself in this present, tender moment. We lift up the lives of our family, our friends, our ancestors. Anne Serapis, Richard Serapis, and Mark Serapis, mother, father, and brother. Alice and Harold Lord, and gratitude for my own life on All Souls Sunday. Stephen Chinland and Edwin F. Chinland. My cousin Jane Cleaves, her mother Eleanor Weston, my parents Willis and Ada Reed. Lisa Whitty, Andy Marshall. My older brother George C. Thomas, artist and storyteller, who would push the truth to make a better story. Dr. Margaret G. Cartwright, prominent women's physician in New Mexico and founder of the YWCA there. Joanne Titcomb, family matriarch. Steve Michelow, Pete's brother. Join me in a time of quiet. We lift up the lives of the leaders and the creators who strengthened, inspired, and brought joy to our nation and world. Representative John Roberts Lewis, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, guitar hero Eddie Van Halen, superhero Chadwick Boseman, AIDS activist Larry Kramer, poet, musician John Prine, Katherine Johnson, whose behind-the-scenes job in a segregated NASA inspired the film Hidden Figures. We lift up the spirit of life of those who died unjustly this year. Rayshard Brooks, Daniel Prude, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Elijah McClain, Tony McDade, Nina Pop, Monica Diamond, and over 230,000 people in the United States who died from COVID-19, and approximately 1.1 million more people who have died from the virus across the world. As we kindle these flames, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us. We give thanks for these lives. this love, these teachings. Amen. And blessed be.
In honor of our second principle, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, our half-plate this week supports the Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust. Access to land is the #1 barrier for people of color to feed our communities healthy, fresh food. The Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust is advancing land sovereignty in the Northeast region through land tenure for Indigenous, Black, Latinx, and Asian farmers and land stewards who will use the land in a sacred manner that honors their ancestors' dreams for sustainable farming, human habitat, ceremony, native ecosystem restoration, and cultural preservation. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. You are invited to make your offering using the Donate button in the order of worship. By clicking this link, you will be taken to Give Butter, a virtual giving site that accepts a card number, PayPal, and Venmo account. You may also give your offering by dropping a check in the mail or using your bank's free Pay Online bill pay feature. This morning's offering has now been requested and will be gratefully received. Thank you so much.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. Oh, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. And when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. So when I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out,
Thanks, Sam. That was great. I love that hymn. It's good to be with you, even just through our live stream. I feel it today. I feel it. So, my friends, big week. And for a slew of reasons that will become obvious to you in a minute, there's this Buddhist parable, or koan, as they're called, that has just been repeating and repeating in my head these past few days. As some of you probably know, a koan is by nature a paradoxical tale, a story that purposely does not make sense. And I know we have a lot of stories just in our headlines that don't make a lot of sense. But koans, unlike your daily news feed, are supposed to free you from the clutches of worldly anxiety, not exacerbate it. Koans are so illogical that it's believed they can snap your brain out of its normal rut of thinking into a new liberated state. And if you're a really good Buddhist, your koan meditation might even lead you to the profound and utterly desirable state of enlightenment, where you will find total peace and equanimity, and the remarkable ability to meet fear and anger with compassion and wisdom. Think the joy, wisdom, and care evoked by the Dalai Lama. That's the state of enlightenment. Seems nice, right? Especially right now. I just want to add, Sarah Whitty, it's so nice to have you next to Pete behind the camera, so I'm not just preaching entirely to Pete. I have both of you. It's great. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the koan that's been circling my brain these days is a well-known tale in the Buddhist canon, and it's a story I bet many of you have heard before, whether or not you knew it was a koan. And just to give you a hint of how good of a Buddhist I am, this koan has not only exacerbated my anxiety, it's annoyed me and made me mad. So I guess my liberated state is still a few incarnations away. The story goes like this. A man is walking through the woods when suddenly he sees the eyes of a tiger peering at him through the brush. The man steps back, the tiger steps forward. The man begins to run, the tiger begins to run, and sprinting through the woods, the man runs for his life, and the tiger bounds after his lunch, and on they go. And suddenly the woods open up to a high cliff, and the man skids to a halt. He looks behind him and sees the tiger is steadily approaching. He sees a vine growing off the side of the cliff and reaches for it and begins to climb down the cliff just as the tiger pounces, clinging to the vine as the tiger peers at him from above. The man takes a moment to look down and plan his next move. As he does, he is dismayed to see another tiger emerge from the woods below him, looking up at him from the bottom of the cliff. So I just want to stop here for a second and highlight the word dismayed in that last sentence. In several readings of the story, the word dismayed is used at this point. The point when the man is dangling off the side of a cliff, trying to get away from a hungry tiger above him, and sees there is suddenly another tiger below him. He is dismayed. Dismayed? Dismayed is the feeling I get when I spill coffee on my shirt, when my Zoom connection is unstable. It's a, oh man, this is annoying feeling. Dismayed is not really the word I would use to describe the experience of seeing a tiger emerge below me as I hang off the side of the cliff, trying to escape a tiger above me. I think alarmed or totally freaking out would be a more apt descriptor. But as I said before, I have many incarnations to go before I get enlightened. Anyway, back to our man friend. He's dismayed. hanging onto a vine on the side of a cliff with a hungry tiger above him, a hungry tiger below him, and then get this, a little mouse comes out of a crack in the cliff, scurries toward the vine, and begins gnawing on it. It's funny, huh? It's funny, Sam. And just as the vine begins to break, the man notices a patch of wild strawberries growing out of a clump of dirt next to him. They are perfectly ripe, warm from the sun. He reaches for one, puts it in his mouth, and it is absolutely delicious. The end. Okay, did anyone just get enlightened? Just post in the chat if so, and maybe we can Zoom this week or something. So like I said, this story has been cycling over and over through my mind these past couple of weeks. Hanging onto a vine, tiger above, tiger below, mouse eats the vine, I eat a strawberry. And like I said, this story annoys me. I am dismayed by its constant presence in my mind. But as it goes with parables, I think it's gnawing at me for a reason. As I've come to understand it, there are two traditional readings of this parable. The first is accept the fact of death and enjoy this precious sweetness of life. The second is distracting yourself with life's sweetness will not save you from death. One reason the tale of the tiger and the strawberry frustrates me is I don't like either of these interpretations. One feels trite and the other feels bleak. But the thing that bothers me the most about this koan is that interpreters let the end be the end, when clearly we don't know the end. We are just at the climax of the story, literally left at a cliffhanger. We can make an assumption as to what might happen next, but so far in this story, all kinds of random stuff has happened, and clearly anything could happen next. You can fault me for overthinking a story that's supposed to keep me from overthinking, but I think there's a far more complicated and important lesson to this tale. A lesson that is important to this day, All Hallows, Samhain, the time when the veil between the earthly world and the spirit realm is at its most permeable. A lesson that is important to this extraordinary moment as we gather at the cliffside of a momentous national election. This lesson? There's more than just tigers, and what might seem like the end is never the end. Thanks to the wonderful worship council who led our service last week, I was able to have a Sunday off and therefore have a real Sunday morning. I bought a Sunday paper. I made scones, I drank coffee, and then I sat down and read an article about Angela Davis in the New York Times Magazine. You know Angela Davis, right? Scholar, activist, woman warrior for the cause of Black liberation, anti-capitalism, prison abolition, feminism. Angela Davis has been everything from a name on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list to the recipient of human rights awards. Her sister, Fania Davis, is a leading innovator and healer in the work of restorative justice. Growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, Angela and Fania were friends with the 4 girls killed in the 1963 bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church. Adie Mae Collins, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, and Carol Denise McNair. These deaths were only the beginning of many unjust acts of violence Fania and Angela would witness, work through, and carry with them for the duration of their radically resilient lives. One could make the argument that Angela Davis probably knows the experience of hanging off a cliff with a tiger above her, a tiger below her, and a mouse chewing on the vine. One might also make the argument that after a brutal year of racialized violence, a pandemic with no end in sight, laying waste to the Black and brown community, an ideologically right-wing Supreme Court, and a president endorsed by the KKK refusing to say whether or not he will accept election results, one might argue that Angela Davis might not be finding much sweetness in life. Such is not the case. Over and over, the article notes how optimistic Angela Davis is right now. As we discuss her past, the author Nelson George writes, "I detect no cynicism, no despair, no frustration. This despite decades of glacial progress." He continues, "Davis's optimism is particularly remarkable when you consider how long she's believed that America can change." In the article, which is titled "Angela Davis Still Believes America Can Change," Davis makes a call for activists to cultivate the power of imagination so we can see beyond just how unjust systems work and shape new visions of how they could work. The most difficult and urgent challenge today, she says, is that of creatively exploring new terrains of justice. Davis calls this work the development of the abolitionist imagination, that which delinks us from what is and allows us to see new forms of safety, of harm reduction, of justice. Angela Davis definitely sees the tigers, but she also knows how to see more than just the tigers. And she is keenly aware that the end is never the end. I look to her unwavering optimism and radical imagination right now at a time when I'm seeing mostly tigers. But I know I must see beyond. Must know this is a continuous story, a long arc. There is no end. When we do this work of organizing against racism, heteropatriarchy, capitalism, Davis says, when we do the work of organizing to change the world, there are no guarantees that our work will have an immediate effect, but we have to keep doing it as if it were possible. My friends, I invite you this week to see the tigers. Fully acknowledge their presence, and please, please, be more than dismayed should violence, deceit, and aggressive fear rule the days ahead. Be alarmed, freak out, and then let that energy fuel your spirit and whatever sweet, precious, necessary good thing it reaches for beyond the tigers, despite the tigers. Be so brave, it seems crazy. Be joyful in your crazy bravery. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go of the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. We're here. Call your spirit back, and then help another find their way through the dark. And if nothing else, take a break from the tigers. And remember this precious moment we share now, together as a collective that will be unbroken. We are with you. We will help you. We will always welcome you with compassion and curiosity, as precious as a wild strawberry in cold, dark November. My friends, I am with you and I am praying for you as we turn the page and see what happens next in this cliffhanger. Won't you pray with me if you're the praying type? let only peace, goodness, and ultimate care for the earth and all of its living beings carry us as individuals, as leaders, and as a nation through the days ahead. Let it be so, let it be so, let it be so. Amen. Amen. Our closing hymn is number 100. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
I've got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy. Like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. An arrow, I got pain like an arrow, I got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I got tears like the raindrops, I got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul. I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul.
Thanks, Sam. I like the upbeat version of that song. That's nice. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us this morning. As always, may all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. All of them. May we all experience profound joy in the cause of profound joy. All of us. May we see beyond the tigers, and may we be joyfully brave in the face of tigers, and may you remember that you are part of something big. You are loved, and you have much love to give. Go out into the world and keep discovering it and keep sharing it. Amen. Go in peace. See you soon.